Hello, welcome back to my workshop. I hope you're all doing marvellously. I've recently found that I often need to use this table lamp with my bandsaw in order to see the blade properly. This is a bit clunky, so in this video I'm going to build myself an articulating light for my bandsaw. Let's get tinkering. I've sketched out what an articulating mount might look like. I think this will give me enough design clues to start building. The light source I'm going to use is a cheap Amazon torch. I'll need to do some modifications to this to make it work properly, so that's going to be my first task.
I won't need this pocket clip, so I'll remove that first.
This part here is going to present problems for me, so I'm going to have to turn it down. Now, if I had a lathe, I could do it on a lathe, but I don't have a lathe, so I'm going to have to grind it off. I'll start by removing the button and the battery from the back.
I grind it down using the bench grinder, rotating the part as I grind to keep it even. The torch is made of aluminium, so it doesn't take long. I already had this torch, but if you're buying one for a similar project, it will be worth looking for one that has the same diameter along the handle.
Just hand filing it to tidy it up.
This piece of wood was an old chair leg. If you watch regularly, you'll know that I generally use reclaimed wood, which I've either scrounged or been given. I'm using a Forstner bit to make a hole in this chair leg, the same diameter as the torch body. It wants to be snug and not too loose, so I used a bit that was a little too small and sanded it to size.
Now I'm going to drill a hole for an M6 tap. Now I'm going to tap it. I don't know what wood this is, but it is a hardwood.
So tapping the end grain had no structural integrity, and I quickly stripped the thread.
Okay, change of plan. I'm going to drill this hole for an M4 threaded insert. The M6 thread that I cut in here didn't work very well, so the threaded insert will work a lot better. I thought I'd get away with it, but obviously not. I want this part to rotate around something here, and I've just taken this old ceiling lamp off the ceiling and replaced it because it's all tarnished. It was going to go in the bin, but I'm thinking I can use a bit of this pipe. That'd be perfect for this job here.
Cut a piece of tubing and tidy up the end with a file. Pilot, then drill a hole to accept the pipe. Cut some more pieces from scrap wood on my table saw. In one of these I drill a hole in the end to accept the tubing and cut the male part of a moving bridle joint and then shape it so it will be able to rotate in the joint. I now cut the female part of the joint, hogging it out using the bandsaw and then shaping it. I then drill a hole for the bolt which will form the joint in both pieces.
I've added a small piece of rubber to the outside here, just to provide a little bit of friction. And I've then put this M4 bolt and nut through, and what I've now got is something that I don't need to adjust. It holds itself nicely. It's reasonably hard to move, but not too hard to move, so I think that's perfect. So originally I'd thought of having a thumb bolt here and tightening this up, but I think I can get away with just the nut and bolt.
A strong magnet will be used to hold this mount to the bandsaw, so I pilot a hole for fixing the screw and screw it together. The tube I cut needs fixing at one end, and I used 2-part 5-minute epoxy to do this. The other end is a friction fit to allow adjustment. Sand the parts down ready for painting. I've no idea what wood this is, other than it's a hardwood used for cheap chairs. If you have any idea what it might be, let me know in the comments.
I've decided that the wood grain looks so nice that I'm going to oil these rather than paint them. I think it'll just show off the wood, which this is a woodworking workshop, so feels like it's appropriate to do that. I'm just removing all of the dust using a tack cloth. These tack cloths work really well at getting all that dust off of the surface. So I'm finishing this with Danish oil just because I think it'll bring out the grain nicely. Just needs a very thin coat. I shall probably put 3 or 4 coats on in total. This is with the light off, and that's with the light on. It makes a massive difference to being able to see the blade. Well, this has turned out better than I expected. It looks great and it performs really well. If you've been struggling to see your bandsaw blade, I highly recommend that you make something like this. It was really easy to make, as you can see from my video, so have a go. If you've enjoyed this video, please leave a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.